right, so let's watch Bobby inbound talk about what he wants.
10
changes
that I want to see to Smite 2, big, small, all the things in between. Just stuff that I want to see eventually added into Smite. This is not me saying tomorrow I need all 10 of these things. Before the end of the year, I need all 10 of these things. No, just eventually, I would like these 10 things added into the game. I think it would just
Yo,
improve.
Bobby, do me a fucking favor right now, live on this video, which isn't even possible. Tilt your fucking camera to the right, or alternative, when editing the videos, tilt the camera in the editing software. Why the am I in a warped fucking reality watching you right now? Why does it look like we're about to zoom in on a rocket ship on your forehead? What is this?
I want to know what you guys think about my list, or things that you think need to be added or changed.
Bro, just tilt it, just little tilter.
Game. Yeah, let's just jump right in. Number one is I want more actives and passives that are just creative and added into the game and like add depth. I think my favorite active period in the game is Scepter of Dominion. I think it's like outplay potential is super exciting. I think the peel potential on dives, I think it could be really exciting. It's one of my favorites.
See, I agree, but Scepter of Dominion needs to channel faster. It needs to like go live faster.
Awesome. That's a W relic, or that's a W active. Lifebinder, not so much. Kind of master of everything. It's not even the master of, or jack of all trades, master of none. This is literally just the master of all things. It gives you damage. It gives you survivability. It gives you sustain. It gives you trading potential. It gives you all in. I don't like this item. I think this item is bad. But I think we just need more actives that, you know, allow ADCs to live, allow mids to live if they opt for these items.
I think Hi-Rez knows that we want more and cooler actives. I just don't think they know what to do for cooler, and a lot of the ideas that get thrown around are a little ridiculous. But in reality, this item sucks for an active item. This item is like 0.5 seconds on the channel time away from being viable more often. This item has been insanely overtuned. This item basically never gets used. This item was broken and OP, and other than that really doesn't get used because you're doing damage to yourself. This item has sucked since its release so far, and this item is too fucking loud and obvious to use consistently. So like, you could tweak this and make this more fun. You could tweak this and make this more fun, and then all the other ones are just kind of dog, like kind of complete dog water. And then when you go to the defensive items, this one could be cool if it worked as a first item. I think this should be the standard support item, but I think they're afraid to buff it to make it the like you have to go item. I just think it would be good for the game to have a support that could counter ward and make gold off of it and like play that way. Charm has good use. Stampede is a good active. Gargoyle is honestly a good active. Feather Step is bad. Pharaoh's Curse is mid. Bead, this is a very, very good team fight active. Anchile is pretty good. Nemean's honestly pretty good. Pridwin's good. This one sucks. Heartwood sucks. The Boar is very good. I think this one's good, but people just struggle to use it. It doesn't get picked up enough. And then this isn't a real active item. It's just swapping between defenses. Damage-wise, you have 2 book lifesteal items that are super boring, and if they're meta, they're going to be horrible and unfun to play against. Arrow's Bow is almost cool. Dagger Frenzy is hard to balance. Sunbeam Bow I like. I think they just should leave it in the game. Lernian I honestly kind of like too, but they need to find a way to make it just more consistent and not scale to the end. I think this item is almost viable. Erendite is almost viable. The push stick was dope, and this I've always wanted something like this in Smite. Mirrodin is good on like 2 gods. Maybe change the stats around a little bit. I think this item, because you're playing for the reset on an ability automatically, I don't think the second stat should be cooldown. I think the second stat should be like pen or aggressiveness. Like it should, if that item had flat pen on it, it would make the characters that want to use it love it, and it would start to implement more use into other gods. Like you might see Scylla with 2/2s, and Scylla's funny. If you go Mirrodin on Scylla and you 2 and throw out your other 2, they blow up together. So it's honestly pretty dope. Pendulum is a great active item. Honestly, it's basically beads from Smite 1. And then the 2 overpriced, horrible cooldown items. If these items had better cooldowns, shorter cooldowns, much shorter cooldowns, they would get picked up more often because they counter knockups, which is OP. Hi-Rez is like almost there. Half the active items could probably get wiped. Out of the leftover half of those probably need to be tweaked, and then the other one should be left on load. So I'm kind of with Bobby on
soul
this.
laners to dive a little bit more effective. Maybe an idea that I had.
Polly's getting a damage buff, but a cool 2-second internal cooldown. I like that change, to be honest. That makes characters that want to one-tap with it feel better. Your Cuckoo, your Scylla, maybe even like your Zeus or somebody.
As agility relic should be an item that you dash, and it's on like a 10-second cooldown. Your next auto or something does additional damage or something like that.
I don't think this game has a place for agility relic at all. I really don't. I think they need to implement, honestly, I don't even think they need to do that. I think they need to put blink on items, but the problem with that is they're afraid to have too many active items because people can only build 3. So in reality, they won't do this, but there should be infinite active items, period. You should choose between 3 defensive relics, and then they should remove both of these. Just my thought.
So you can kind of use it in a fight as a soul laner and like jump around and stuff like that. That's a cool active. Something like Sunder could be an active instead also. Something like Shell could be an active instead also.
Oh, that work on controller though? Press 2 buttons at the same time like we fucking do on keyboard and mouse when we play MMOs?
So these all could be actives. They could be slightly iterated to be, you know.
We do not need 2 relics, bro. This game is balanced around 1 relic. If they put in a second relic, we're going to have games where it's 1 to 4 again. There are so many deaths and it makes the game fun. All right? It makes the game fucking fun. 2 relics will reduce deaths. Less deaths is not more fun. It's the opposite. It's boring.
A little bit different. Maybe instead of purification beads on a strength attack speed item, it's a cleanse on an attack speed and a attack speed strength item with just
I don't even think agility relic is that big of a problem in the grand scheme of the game, but it fucks up too many characters way too much. Yorn, Bellona, Osiris non-aspect. If you go jungle hybrid, it shreds through people. It's just not a good addition to the game.
Like 30 strength, 20% attack speed, and a cleanse. Perfect. There we go. Now
We talked about the 2 relic thing on Titan Talk and said they weren't planning on it because they would have to completely rebalance the game. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be good for the game. Even in the long run, it wouldn't be good for the game. You would have Shell, Aegis, solos every game. I'd rather the solo have a defensive relic than fucking Sunder, bro. I think Sunder's terrible for the fucking game. And then if Shell is so OP, then anti-shield items become more relevant. Like the changes affect the builds. Like changes on one area can affect how a whole game gets played out. Also, let's say the reverse happens. Let's say we don't go full defensive relics. Let's say we just go back to having 4 relics and Blink is one of them. Then we start seeing solos with Blink again, which I think is just more fun.
There's some games where the jungler or the ADC can go Aegis with this cleanse item. Blink, maybe.
All right, I don't need him to go over this.
The next passives in the game, you revive, and it's on a 5-minute cooldown. And then even some passives. There's some passives in the game that I think are so close to being cool. Like Levi's. Instead of this cooldown, or instead of the damage by God attack, 10% less strength and attack damage, this should just be, yeah, think of the item. But it should just do damage based on your strength every 10 seconds. Or sorry, damage based on your health every 10 seconds. So then you can play to kind of get your health up as much as possible, and then, you know, come crashing down with your autos every 10 seconds or something like that.
No, Bobby's on crack. Bobby's ideas, unfortunately, like his original thoughts are good, but then his creativity is usually dog shit. If they could make it, he is right though. Like some of these passives are really close to being good. If they can make it so supports want to choose between like Eye of Erebus, Leviathans, or Yogis, or a magic version of like these first, and they all are viable, but you only want to build one first, that would make a lot of that would add a lot of variety to the game. If you were a support and you were like, all right, which one of these 4 are good first items for me this game, but they're not good enough to build second or third, so I'm just gonna build one of them. But they're like, that's the kind of shit that would be dope. Yeah, build diversity would be awesome if they made it so it was just a little bit better, like almost there. It would probably take many tweaks on most items.
There's a very time of region on this. I'm not going to build it though, because every time you build it, then you can't build anything else. Just gives one amount of regen. And then you go Chronos Pendant and like something like this. And then here, once you hit level 3, you have like, I can't even toss my 2 onto something. You've got like a little bit worse mana regen. You actually are going to struggle and maybe run out of mana. But that's like the only time. Every other item, or every other starter, I should say, is giving you some semblance of mana sustain. You'll never run out of mana mostly in support with War Flag and Selflessness, because this is giving you, what is that, 30 mana every single time?
Okay.
In lane.
The argument that you should be able to go like 40%, 50% cooldown early and have no mana regen and not go is insane. If you're spamming your fucking abilities because you opted for full cooldown, it should have a downside. Like, if you go full damage to hit really hard, you have no cooldown. That's a downside. It's like arguing that everything should be good and on the up and up is troll as fuck.
And it's also every camp. And then Boombas. Boombas is
Like, if you're full cooldown, you shouldn't just spam your shit. You should use it correctly.
the chain full healing the entire time with both Boombas. I hate it in the jungle. It's broken. Permanently full health, like full healing the entire time. Maybe I should have added that as its own thing. You are just permanently... The change to Boombas, maybe I should have added that as its own thing. You are just permanently full health, like full healing.
Yes, Bobby, because everyone in the lane is also permanently full fucking HP. Because you guys don't have to tank creeps. What the fuck are we saying?
The entire time.
That's a horrible take. That is a horrible, that is just a bad Smite IQ take.
Boombas. I hate it in the jungle. Broken.
The idea that the jungler should come out of the jungle low HP is fucking insane. You gotta be snorting crack.
Do it. This is the one, because it's one mana regen. It's a little low. And if you go a bunch of spamming things, you can kind of run out. But Sands, it's 2 mana regen, and you get extra mana when you're missing mana. Death Toll, you're healing 1 mana every auto. Leather Cowl, it's not bought right now, because why? When you can just go Death Toll. And it's kind of the same thing with Gilded. But Gilded has mana back on it. You get 2 mana on Bluestone Pendant. Warrior's Axe, another one that you kind of struggle with, but you don't really see Warrior's Axe a ton. And then Vamp Shroud, you get mana back. And this is on top of having an insanely high mana regen stat. In Smite 1, it ends up being only a little bit higher, but you combine this with just kind of every item having mana regen and having just a lot more mana regen. It's just really different. For the most part, you just never really run out of mana. And I think mana can be a really good balancing factor.
He's not wrong that there is a lot of regen and people don't have to play around it. But it was weird because his first take was, look, I built a bunch of cooldown, I go, Like, yeah, that's how it should be. But, and if he's talking about jungle regen, if he wants to take mana regen, I'll tune it down in the jungle, I'd agree with that. Health regen, no, I think that'll be an L take.
The game. I think mana should be something you worry about.
Yeah, Smite 1 does look like shit.
I'd like to see a slight rebalancing on stats. For the most part, I think health is just like a pretty underwhelming stat. Like, even a hunter right now gets up to 2200 just for being in the game. And then you build like 1 health item, and then this is kind of the spot that you would kind of get to in Smite 1. I just think it's a little bit too much health, and it's not that it's just too much health. It's that health is an inefficient stat because of how OP Soul Reaver is. I want them to nerf Soul Reaver. This is, I'm going to kind of combo it with the stat rebalancing. I just want to see Soul Reaver nerfed. If we have to buff Kins after to kill tanks, health tanks a little bit more, sure, that's fine with me. But Soul Reaver and mages should not be the true tank-killing characters. It should be hunters. I also think early game, you should be able to get...
So, if he wants health changes, he either wants it to take longer to kill tanks, or he wants everyone's health to be lower, so he wants everyone to die faster. I think the game has heavily been balanced for the last year around our current stats, and I think the idea of changing base health and shit like that across the board is just not... Like, it's dumb to even pretend like it's an option.
To more protections a little bit quicker. And I'd like to see, and I'm going to combo 3 and 4 here, because my 4th one is reduction to flat protections, flat health, or adding flat pen into the game. Either of those 2 is fine, but the fact that you're just getting to an insane amount of protections in the late game. Like, I'm at 18 right now, which is really not bad. Like, 18 early game is not bad. But then you try to go, like, an early protection item, and you get 6 on this item. Most of the time, this 6 is getting... Actually, not most of the time. It is just getting outpaced. Like, yeah, it's a slight cost increase for this 10 strength. It's 1.5 times the cost. But it's not like you're able to really manipulate that and actually bully it out. I think it would make a bit more sense if these were closer cost.
I don't think that's true that defense is being outpaced by damage unless you're referring to support where everything is outpacing you. You're a fucking support. So is he saying he wants support defense items to be tankier? Because that wouldn't be Glad Shield, which is what he was talking about. So I'm confused.
And then closer statted also, so they're both somewhat of.
Last game you got killed in 5 autos from an X-Ball with Hyde. Didn't you have 2 damage items though? I think there's a huge. No, you had 3. You had damage starter. You had something else like Devos, right? And then another item. I thought you had 3 damage items. Losing 100 prots to build damage means you should die. That means you shouldn't be able to sit there and eat full build autos to the dome like they don't matter. What makes a good player? It's game to game, bro. In my opinion, good starts when you're like in the top 500 players, and then great starts when you're like pro. I think there's a huge gap for average and like okay players, and then a even bigger gap for those below that.
Effective. It is basically kind of what I'm thinking. And then you compare it to like the magical protection item, which is Rune, which is 7.
See, I have a huge issue with like what Alpha said. He was solo lane, but he had 3 damage items, including like counting his starter, and he died to 5 autos from an ADC. First of all, I don't think it was 5 autos because I don't think it was crit. So it was probably more like 10. Because he's autoing like 3 autos a second, right? So like, and he's not hitting them all, I'm guessing. So it's probably over the course of a couple seconds. But you opted to not go full defense. Solo lane gods have higher base damage numbers on their abilities, so they can go full fucking defense. Wanting like I hate the argument of, well, I should be able to build damage items and have higher base damage. Like that doesn't make any sense at all. You have higher base damage, so you can build defense. If you get both, then you're just better than everybody. I know, Alpha, I'm not talking about you, but other people say the same thing. They get mad when they can't, like, I think solo laners should be building pretty much full fucking defense and then being insanely tanky. I think that's the value in a solo laner. I think as a damage dealer, when a solo laner comes into a teamfight late game and isn't insanely tanky, I kind of think they're worthless.
Ton of magical protections early. Like you start with 27 and then you buy this, you're at 34. You try to do the same thing physical side, it's completely different. You're down 10 protections. I just think it's a little bit off. Mages are already kind of weaker early game, and Guardians don't really do a ton of damage either.
Well, I'm not saying they can't build damage and be bruisers. I'm saying they can't build damage and be bruisers and expect to stand in front and need abilities. You know what I mean? Like the hybrid builds where you're half and half or like 4 defense items, 3 damage items. You can be aggressive and tank some abilities that a jungler can't tank, but not all of them. You know what I mean? Like a jungler could eat 6 autos and die. The solo could eat 10, right? So you get a little bit of a buffer there. That's kind of like where I agree. I think that's how it should be, but I think a lot of people want both, and I think they're trolling.
I'd like to see just
they want to be somewhat damagey with items, but also not die. It's like what?
Like this should not. Squishies, ranged characters should not be above 2,000 health without building a single item. And then this is definitely.
But the game is balanced around the current health, so this is just a bad. You'd have to rebalance the entire game. These aren't realistic changes. And if you want this change, then you're gonna have to say, well, I want all the items in the game changed too, because it's gonna fuck with balance.
Definitely too high. Number 5.
When has solo ever been in a good spot for me? I think most of the time towards the end of Smite, they were good. Like they were annoying. If they got ahead, they were kind of mini raid bosses. They could still die if they, made big mistakes. There's been a bunch of points. It's just usually solo complains to the point where some characters get hyper overbuffed, and then those characters are outliers and make the role seem more OP or maybe even worse than it really is.
Specs are awesome. They've shaped the game a ton. I just want to see a little bit more rebalancing and kind of weeding out.
I think the map being big hurts solo. Bro, the map being the way it is insane for the side lanes. Both side lanes have infinite farm and the ability to clear a wave, teleport to the other lane, kill them back, teleport back to the wave, and miss no fucking XP. Like, you have full control of the map if you're good. The problem is most people are bad and just sit in lane and try to fight the other solo laner the whole time.
The irrelevant and kind of just useless actives.
Rotate the map isn't that big, bro. You can rotate the map in like 4 seconds.
I don't think we really need this Rama aspect that is basically Rama, but just depending on stats, one is going to be better than the other at all times, and they don't really change anything up. There's a pretty irrelevant change here. Most others don't have this issue.
I don't like this take either, because if they don't do stuff like that, then we won't run into the random cool shit that just ends up happening. Like, look at Scylla. Look at Scylla's aspect. I guarantee you, at first, everyone was like, well, that's going to be a terrible damage aspect. It ends up being a hyper good support that no one saw coming. I think the random attempts at weird aspects, even though they don't seem much far off from the original, I think it needs to happen for them to stumble upon the cool shit. Most cool things in video games weren't on purpose. Like, a lot of the cool things, like Fortnite literally exists on accident. The whole game. The game blew up off of one of the most viral clips ever, which was a rocket ride. It was an accident. They didn't mean for you to be able to rocket ride. Accidents go far, dude. Trying things is what makes games into what they are.
Things. One of them can be good for this. One can be good for this. Some of them, like the Rama one, just pretty irrelevant. The other thing is those really simple and easy to play aspects I kind of hate. Like, the emojis is just spamming simulator, like once you get to the later portion of the game. But all it is, oh, I don't have it. It's just this. This is how you're supposed to play aspect emoji. It's pretty boring, and then like if you're ahead, it's just impossible to play against. I want to see some creative ones, some fun ones that really, you know, put something separate. Like for Ares,
H1Z1 and PUBG were before Fortnite, yes.
So for your aspect of reverberation, instead of using searing flesh, you instead like light your fists on fire and you punch with your fists, and then you do like a slight burn, so maybe 2 ticks every time you punch somebody with it for 4 seconds or something like that. So then you have like an auto attack style Ares who also can chain to keep you close. I think that'd be a lot more exciting than just, oh, his 2 now stuns. Or like with Pele, instead of Pele just being like a slight sustain character with her 3 and you don't really play her anymore, she gets protections instead of the strength and lifesteal. Make her a magma character where she kind of becomes the volcano and her 3 leaves lava behind her, and if enemies walk into it, maybe they get slowed or they take damage or they take burn damage or something like that. And then her ultimate, maybe she doesn't get the dash or something. Just something that changes kind of how the character plays and makes them a little bit more exciting. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Number 6, this is going to be a broad one. I'm just going to say it quick. We just need Conquest changes. Conquest has been the same for a while now. I mean, the game is over a year old now, and we've kind of had the same Conquest map that plays the same. Get rid of the side minions, get rid of the teleporters, switch up the jungle infamy system, switch up the buffs in general. I think a lot of the buffs are pretty boring compared to Smite 1's. Like red was strength and int, and then it also gave lifesteal from the team.
I think you remove the upgrading buffs. For one, I think 95% of the player base doesn't even know that the buffs upgrade. So that means the current system is failing. I think you go back to the totem way, where your upgrade to the buffs is the one that you pick. You pick the upgrade you want on the buff that you're taking. I do think that they should make the back harpies a green buff like it in Smite 1 to make it feel like everyone has their own buff if the game allows it. And then that way everyone can pick their own totem and have their own like gameplay, progression. I truly believe that the totems that they made in Smite 1 were like one of their best things they ever did. Jiggy, you're very short. So I do agree, like the buff system is pretty butt. We know the map sucks. We haven't even had a map iteration yet. Smite 1 had 15 different maps.
Purple was attack speed and auto attack damage.
I also think the buffs in general suck. Like speed I think is fine now because they fixed it. They made it good. Purple is also very, very good. But blue is pretty like mid. Red is dog shit. In reality, I almost feel like blue and red should be swapped and then they should have different passives. Because the red is genuinely meant for solo and tank. It's meant for a tank. It's not meant for a mid laner with its current setup.
Green was health and then mana and also percent mana and health increase, even though green buff is not in the game. they were just more exciting, I think. And they also rebalance them. Like, speed buff is just far and away the most OP buff. It's not even close because movement speed is just so broken.
That is full Cappington from Bobby. Full-blown Cappington. Purple buff is by far the best buff in the game. It's not even fucking close. It's literally not even close. I realize speed now has flat pen. That's great, right? That's fucking cool. We did not see a huge damage or time to kill change from that flat pen being put on speed buff, all right? It's just factual. We didn't see it. I think red being dog shit, blue being pretty mid is why he thinks speed is so good, but purple is by far the best buff. It's not even fucking close. It's literally not even close. And the idea that the jungler shouldn't have speed is insane. You have a character that you want to control the map. You have a character that a role that is literally shit on when you don't make it to every single fight. And then in the same breath, as you shitting on like, where's my jungler? You'll also want the buff nerfed. Pure ignorance.
And then purple buff is right there as being like number 2. It's really OP. And then red buff is pretty underwhelming. Not really that good. And then blue buff is super useless. Like 99% of the game. I just rebalance them a little bit, I think. Next one, perma-stacking.
Hi, Cyber Queen. Thank you for the resub. Ariel, thank you for the resub too.
The easiest and most fun way to just add depth to a character. Scylla is her like late game hyper carry, but on top of that, I love seeing this funny little number climb. And it's the same thing with Thanatos. Unfortunately, I can't really show Thanatos in terms of like the number climbing because they still haven't added that to his UI when I've been asking for it for like 7 months.
What the fuck is this?
Harder. Maybe. I don't really know too much about that. But that's fun. I love perma-stacking on items. Like Leviathans also. Perma-stacking just is such a fun way to watch that funny little number.
Perma-stacking is cool. Every mid-mage sees their ult buffed. Every single one. So there is not a single mid-mage in the game that one-shots another squishy with their ultimate. If you're... Everyone's level 20, everyone's full build, and no 3k pots, nothing else implemented. Just you know, raw, your stats versus theirs. There's no mage that one-shots in the game right now. We've gone through and tested every single mage. There's no... Cuckoo ult doesn't one-shot. Vulcan ult, I think, is the only one that can, but I'm not sure if it still requires a 3k pot or not. No one... Raw ult doesn't one-shot. Like, none of... Scylla ult doesn't one-shot. Bro, that feeling of one-shotting somebody and winning a team fight from Smite 1 is greatly missed in Smite 2. Okay, Anubis ult, you have to hit 50 fucking ticks. Anyway. I miss that from the game. I think that is a massive area of the... That is a hype moment that just doesn't exist anymore. It's impossible to exist in its current state. I think that should change.
Go up, and it's just entertaining. 8, another quick one. Remove Sunder. It should not be in the game.
Yes.
How did this even make it into live servers? Tyler.
I'm gonna look. There's been 4 Sunder, agility relic, the slowing item that they anchor, and there's one other item. There's been 4 items that I've said these items shouldn't go live. I have not missed at all. And yet these items still go live. They get complained about for a month or 2. They get hyper nerfed, tweaked, removed. Like something happens. High res. It is like abundantly obvious when these items are not good for the game. It is right away. 1 game in. It's Lash is the other one. Terrible for the fucking game. Had to be nerfed 40 times.
The one meme. Yeah, that is just a very boring addition to the game. It makes support just like the worst role. I don't like playing support right now for like a couple reasons, mostly because I don't like playing in a lane with an ADC when a lot of times it feels like you're kind of babysitting a player that is not great because ADC players. But the other part is I just don't want to buy Sunder every game. I showed a video like 2 weeks ago or something where I was like, just throw out your Gala ward flare. See if they have Sunder. If they don't have Sunder, walk at the buff and steal it. W. Game's over. They're down a buff. You have 2 purple buffs. Purple buffs giving you increased damage. Like, it's just so OP. Remove it. Number 9, maybe a controversial one. Add anti-heal back into the game, but not nearly even close to what it used to be. And I think
What Bobby just asked for is already in the game. If he wants anti-heal put back into the game, healing has already been reduced by like 40, 50, 60% depending on the god. It's somewhere between 40 and 60%. If we add anti-heal back into the game, we're going to have to rebuff healing regardless of how little anti-heal is. I think they're actually on the right route for anti-heal. I think they don't understand what a good negative item like added to an item is. Like brawlers, people get tankier for healing. That is a fucking horrible addition to the game. That is not better for the game. When I heal on a regular ability that I'm not even thinking about, I don't think someone should get more damage and more defense. There should be some other thing. Like imagine something where if you healed, you're slowed. If you get healed, you're slowed. Stacking slow. You heal more than once, you get slowed 30%. Say there's I don't know, like if someone heals near me as a tank item, it pulls them into me. Every time they cast a heal, they get pulled in. Like that vortex item, instead of being a shitty vortex no one wants, it heal pulls them in. Like there has to be cooler negative effects and not just like raw flat bullshit that's boring as fuck that you can't track. It has to be better and more fun and more interesting.
I think it should just be like, I think
all healing should be classified as the same instead of healing versus lifesteal. No, because then you'd have to go in and you'd have weird item interactions and it wouldn't be good for the game. The item could drop an eye when they heal. What would the eye do? Anything? Like just come up with something cool? Slows, pulls, does damage.
Is it 30% that gods have now? I think it's 30%.
Like they need, the problem is they did the anti-heal, the healing changes, and they didn't have any items. None of the items they're putting in are good. We've got 2 tank items, first of all, for anti-heal. Like solo lane, not support items. We have 3 tank items. We have Contagion, we have Anchor, and we have Brawler's Beatstick. We have 3 solo lane items for anti-heal. Our mage anti-heal item isn't even good. It's not good enough. You need to make it fucking better. It doesn't do anything. And the addition you added is dog shit. They heal, I get more cooldown on my thing. I'm a mage. I want to cast one ability and kill somebody when I'm full build. And then you have, what's the other one, dude? Wait, ADCs don't even have an anti-healing one, right? Oh, it's a lie. Kins, which, brother, have we looked at this shit, by the way? Like, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Bro, I need you to keep in mind, people can't read Jotuns and tell me what Jotuns does, okay? People are not capable of reading Jotuns. Jotuns has no passive. Jotuns is the most basic thing in the world, basically. Like, it has a passive, but it's super basic. You're telling me that someone's gonna read fucking all this shit and understand what's going on? There's you got base stats, you have passive, you have an attack hit, you have a bonus damage, you have a health plus, you have a percentage. Like, bro, I know you can't see it. There's no way for me to pull it up. Holy fuck. It doesn't matter. People aren't reading this. People don't understand it. You need simple, effective, fun items. Not this bullshit.
Who has anti-heal? Fenrir does. 25%. Sure, 25%.
There's also Avenging Blade for anti-heal. They nerfed it before it went live. It's not being built.
Item that doesn't stack with this that anti-heals. And it could be 1 or 2. It could be something where like your autos do it or your autos and your ability do it and then you only need 1, or if you auto use an ability or you're in an aura, any of those work. Like there's so many small things that you can do. It doesn't even need to be a ton of them. Just like 1 or 2 anti-heal options that don't stack with these. Because if I have a comp,
so the anti-heal effect on Divine Ruin is, Divine Ruin is a bunch of int, and when you hit a god, it bounces around like it did in Smite 1, a damage, like a oboe proc, like an arcing damage, right? The anti-heal effect is the cooldown of that proc gets reduced every time someone heals a certain amount around you. I'm not paying attention to that, bro. How am I gonna play around that? That's just accidental. That's not good, that's not fun, that's not interactive. It's fucking terrible. It's a horrible fucking addition.
Doesn't have anti-heal in our god kits, and then I'm playing
Blue?
against a
Good shit.
Mushroom Guan Yu with Asclepius and his 1 maxed with Aspect. I'm not going to be having too much fun. And I know Assault players deal with this a lot. Where
also, what's a little insane to me is our anti-heal items are dog shit, but Lifebinder keeps existing in its current state, Lifebinder gives you a heal, a shield, and does damage. And it has good base stats. It has int, it has health, it has regen. Then it gives you a shield, a heal, and does damage. It's a 6-statted item. Every 6-statted item in the history of Smite is OP. Like, that's just like every single one is fucking OP. Anchor was 6-statted, and it was fucking busted. They had to remove one of the stats. Crazy. Crazy. Insane.
Kind of become a little bit mind-numbing because people just sit back and heal, and then you can't really all in them ever under their tower. I just think some healing reduction would be very, very good. And then finally ended off with continuously just getting these old gods in. This is a very simple one, and it's one that they're going to do no matter what.
See, I actually don't agree with that. I want new shit, bro. I don't give a fuck about... I think it's pretty fucking obvious that adding in old gods is not doing anything, considering they added an old god every 2 weeks and the player base hasn't grown in months. Clearly, that is not going to bring everyone back like we seem to think. Give us new shit. Fun, new shit. Like, what have we seen that's fucking new? What was the last new god? Aladdin was dope. Bari was OP, but she's a cool idea. Is that it? Bari and Aladdin are our last two new ones, bro? Like, I don't even remember them. I want cool new shit. I don't give a fuck about old shit. It's clearly not bringing people over. Give us new shit. Give me something that is so fucking crazy that you never could have done it in Smite 1. That's why we're on Smite 2, UE5. Something you never could have done in Smite 1. Something that will go fucking viral because it's some crazy ass shit that the character can do that's just hype as fuck. And then see your game grow. Aladdin was hype as shit. Aladdin got fucking views. It got people to play the game. Give us crazy fucking shit. Have somebody making crazy new fucking shit. Please. Please.